Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Thieves making it a little harder for one church to assist Hurricane Dorian evacuees.
2 customs officers were brought before the magistrate's court charged with stealing.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Leaders of one local church arrived at the place of worship this morning to discover that thieves had stolen 12 pallets of food collected to assist families displaced by Hurricane Dorian. They say it's unfortunate that some people have lost respect for the church and pleaded with the culprits to share the stolen food with those in need. Giorgio Bain reports.
These pallets were once stacked high with ready-to-make easy meals for Hurricane Dorian evacuees, but now they're empty after thieves made their way onto the porch here at Bahamas Harvest Church and made away with the majority of the goods. Project Hope Caribbean, the disaster relief branch of Bahamas Harvest Church, suffered a major blow Monday after thieves helped themselves to 12 pallets of food collected to assist hundreds of families displaced by Hurricane Dorian.
Each pallet had about 50 boxes in each pallet, and this morning I came here and we had 12 pallets out on our porch on yesterday even after we left church, and this morning when we came they were all gone.
The culprits only left behind 4 boxes, according to Chief Operation Manager at Bahamas Harvest Church, Pastor Erica Moxie, who said it's sad that some people have lost respect for the church.
I can say we are at a point now that some persons aren't fearful of church. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, church is not a place for perfect people, but some of the things that we held sacred, I mean, certain things you just didn't do in church, now happen. You know, things are you know, people at churches are being broken into and vandalized, and it's just different.
Since Dorian hit 2 months ago, the church has assisted over 200 families. Moxie pleaded with the people who stole the cases of food to share them with those in need.
No condemnation. Again, I'm hoping that it was done out of need and not out of greed, yeah, and so whatever it is, if you have it, please distribute it to the persons that need it.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
2 days after a group protested outside Kendall Isaac's gymnasium requesting that all illegal migrants be removed from the shelter, Acting Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says there's no need for vitriolic behavior. Turnquest said they should allow the government to do its job.
Anybody that is here legally via an active work permit, permanent residency, or nationalization has a right to all of the protection and benefit that the state affords its citizens and residents. If you don't fall in that category, then obviously we would expect you to do the honorable thing.
The acting prime minister said government has sought to handle the situation with decency over the past 2 months, ensuring that everyone receives assistance, regardless of their status. However, Turnquest reiterated previous statements that the law must be upheld.
The Kendall Isaac's gym and all of the shelters were not meant for long-term stay. And so we do anticipate and pray that those persons will make every effort to leave the shelter as soon as possible.
Turnquest, who spoke with reporters on the sidelines of BICA's Accountants Month conference, was asked about the group, Operation Sovereign Bahamas, led by former talk show host Adrian Francis, and their protest to have Hurricane Dorian evacuees removed from the Kendall Isaac's gymnasium.
It's not fair to the young Haitians and the Haitians who are inside the gym. It's not designed for that. We took $400,000 to renovate this gym. This is not disregarding the humanitarian efforts that are taking place behind us. The gym is not a hotel. It's not a hotel. The gym is not a hotel.
Francis and supporters protested in the rain, pointing to evacuees walking by and even those getting food.
Everybody come here selling food now. See, all the behemoths got to pay for restaurant bill. Everybody got to pay for restaurant. We got thousands of people inside the gym. Now all these restaurants, so all them selling food.
But Turnquest said there is a way to do things without being rude or inhumane.
I want to say to Bahamians that there's no need for the level of vitriol or prejudice that some may be putting. And we do understand the frustration, but allow the government to do its job.
The fate of undocumented migrants who had to evacuate after Hurricane Dorian slammed into Marsh Harbor has been a sensitive topic, gaining international attention. He said while there are some who have called for displaced undocumented migrants to be given some sort of status, Turnquist explained it's not that easy.
There are unfortunately some in our community who would like us to fling open our borders to any and everybody. But as you know, we do not have the resources to be able to do that. And so we have to be mindful and jealously guard what is behaving.
In other news, 2 young customs officers are arraigned in the magistrate's court today, charged with stealing. Jillian Gray reports.
The Anti-Corruption and Financial Crime Unit brought 2 customs officers before the magistrate's court charged with stealing. Brandon Bastian in the plaid shirt and Rondino Ferguson in the blue shirt were both charged with 2 counts of stealing by reason of employment. It is alleged that sometime between October 29th and 30th, 2019, the pair stole an assortment of jewelry from John Bull totaling $29,844.25. It is further alleged that on November 6, 2019, they stole an assortment of jewelry from John Bull in the amount of $20,666.80. Both men pled not guilty to the charges. Bastian is further charged with his wife, Jewel Bastian, on 3 counts of receiving. It is alleged that the pair, being concerned together, knowingly obtained 3 Cartier watches valued at $10,882.40 for Movado watches totaling $3,603 and 1 pair of Cartier sunglasses valued at $463.05. The couple pleaded not guilty to all charges. As Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt remanded the trio to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, the packed courtroom of their family members became emotional. Before their loved ones were carried away, they hugged them and wept openly. All 3 will return to court on November 19th, 2019 at 10 a.m. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Following a 4-week break, former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson's trial continued in the Supreme Court today. Jared Higgs has the latest.
ASP Deborah Thompson of the Financial Crimes Unit testified that she became involved with the case after a meeting with Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson in June 2017. Thompson says she met with the case's star witness Jonathan Ash and his attorneys soon after, and at one of those meetings took comprehensive notes that she then typed up into a statement that Ash signed on June 30th. Thompson, who was questioned by Crown Prosecutor James Guthrie QC, also told the court that she swore an affidavit in support of civil proceedings to freeze funds in Jonathan Ash's bank account. She says the reason the funds were frozen was because there was an investigation into whether Ash had obtained the funds lawfully. The police investigator also testified that she met with Deborah Bastian, the woman prosecutors say facilitated $200,000 worth of bribe payments to Gibson. Thompson says initially Bastian was treated as a suspect, even taking a statement from her under caution. However, those statements under caution were converted into a 1-document consolidated statement. Thompson also told the court that she met with Ash, Bastian, and their attorneys together on September 25th. She says the purpose of that meeting was to clear up ambiguities. She's expected back on the stand on Tuesday. Now, during the court's morning sessions, 2 bank managers from Commonwealth Bank gave evidence that they had dealings with Deborah Bastian on instructions from the case's star witness, Jonathan Ash. Meanwhile, an assistant manager at Commonwealth Bank testified that Deborah Bastian refused to sign a check in her name for $20,000. Denicia Arana told the court that the check was made out on instructions from Jonathan Ash in early 2017. However, Arana testified that while at Commonwealth Bank's Oaksfield branch, Bastian refused to sign the check and present ID, telling Arana, quote, "That's not what I came here for." Arana says she then advised Bastian that if she didn't sign, the check would not be released. The bank employee says after both women spoke to Ash on the phone, Bastian still refused to sign and the check was cancelled. Under cross-examination from Damien Gomez, QC, the Commonwealth Bank assistant manager told the court that Ash's instructions to her were that his auntie was in the lobby needing assistance. He added that Bastian needed to get the money to pay workers. Meanwhile, another Commonwealth Bank employee gave evidence that he was involved with 2 payments made to Bastian from Jonathan Ash in early 2017. In January, Bronson Gibson, a senior branch manager at Commonwealth Bank Oaksfield branch, says Ash instructed him to pay Bastian $30,000. That transaction came up to $30,322.50 after a 1% fee plus VAT were levied. A second transaction was ordered by Ash in February, according to Bronson Gibson. After depositing a check worth $226,800 onto Ash's account, Bastian was given $20,000 from Ash's account as per Ash's instructions. Under cross-examination by Gomez, the bank manager told the court that Ash explained that he didn't deposit the check himself in January because he was going to be away. He also testified that he had known Ash as a customer of the bank for 6 years at the time and had no reason to question his instructions. He was also pressed on the difference between the check numbers for the RBC check brought into the bank in January. He testified that the disparity could mean they were two different checks, or it could be an error. Also giving evidence for the second time was Sergeant Dale Strawn. He testified that call logs showing communication between Jonathan Ash and Deborah Bastian in November 2016 were not a part of the information he compiled on a CD that was submitted into evidence. The case resumes at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks, Jared. Still to come, 80% of businesses and homes affected by Hurricane Dorian were not insured. Plus, NEMA receives 5 heavy-duty vehicles. Stay tuned.